Welcome to this 4-stage sitting meditation. During this meditation, we'll be bringing a mindful awareness to different areas of our experience. Initially our breath, then our breath and our body, then sounds, and then moving our attention onto thoughts. So I'll ask you to adopt your meditation posture, however this looks to you. But we're looking to bring 2 intentions to our posture. The first is a sense of awakeness, of alertness. And we can bring this about by making a few little changes to how we're sitting. Firstly, making sure our legs are uncrossed and our feet are on the floor about hip width apart. And then moving our attention upwards from our feet, past our buttocks, which are sat securely on the chair, and bringing our attention to the base of our spine, noticing the curve of our spine. And as we follow our attention upwards, gradually straightening of our spine, elongating, automatically bringing the sense of presence, alertness, awakeness and dignity, with our chin slightly tucked in. And we're also looking for a sense of relaxation, a sense of comfort. And maybe with the next out-breath, we allow our shoulders to drop slightly. And with the next out-breath, allowing our weight to give way to gravity. And with both our feet on the floor, we know that the earth is below us, holding us safe, keeping us safe and steady, whilst we allow our weight just to drop slightly. So I'll invite you to take a few intentional deep breaths here, just to arrive to this practice, breathing in fully all the way down and exhaling fully, allowing all the air to leave your body. And we'll practice this a few times. And the intention for this sitting meditation, as with any mindfulness meditation, is to bring an awareness of our experience as it unfolds moment by moment in a non-judgmental and kind way. And there's no right or wrong way for our experience to be. There are no goals we're trying to achieve. We're just noticing our experience in every moment. And our experience can never be wrong. So initially I'll invite you to bring your attention inwards, to focus just on the breath, allowing our attention to be beside our breath. And we don't need to change our breath in any way. We don't need to alter it or tamper with it. We're just observing, allowing our breath just to breathe itself. We're just noticing, knowing that each breath is perfect as it is. There's no right or wrong way to breathe. Our breath's been breathing itself all our lives. Our job here is just to be with our breath. Noticing the quality of our breath. We might notice the length of our breath. Maybe it's short, deep. Maybe it's interchangeable or somewhere in the middle. There might be a texture to our breath. It might be rough, smooth, or maybe no texture at all. There may even be a sound accompanying our breath. Or maybe it's silent. However it is perfect in this moment. We might notice how long our breaths are. They might be short or long, a combination of both. There may even be a colour associated. We're just getting to know our breath, becoming familiar with how our breath is right now. There might be particular places in our body we can feel our breath more vividly. Maybe there are areas where our breath is more alive. And we can place our attention in this one place. Once again, just being beside our breath in this one area where we can feel our breath most vividly. And we're noticing. Noticing each breath. And I'll invite you to move your attention to the journey of the breath as it comes into our body. Noticing our breath as it starts its journey, either at your nostrils or at your mouth. Just being curious about the beginning of this in-breath. And then the air and the breath travels down, maybe into our mouth or the back of our throats. Just noticing and being with our breath in this area. And again, moving our attention downwards, still following our in-breath. And maybe it goes down to our chest. Maybe here we might sense an expansion at the front, back, sides. Noticing where our lungs and our rib cages move slightly. And our in-breath may even go deeper. It may not, it may stop here, or it may even stop at the back of our throat, and that's fine. Our breath might go right down to our belly. And what can we find with our in-breath here? A slight expansion and stretching of our skin. And following the in-breath all the way through its journey as it starts, travels through our body and goes down as far as it needs to go for this breath. Noticing how the in-breath has a beginning, a middle and an end. And how the end of the in-breath has a slight pause, a slight gap. before the in-breath turns around and becomes the beginning of the out-breath. And here the out-breath has its own journey as the air leaves our body. Now we bring our attention to this breath, this out-breath, following the air's journey as it begins to leave our body. And noticing the slight changes here with each out-breath. And again, our out-breath has a beginning, a middle and an end. And at the end of our out-breath, there's another pause, another gap, before the end of the out-breath becomes the beginning of the next in-breath. And the cycle starts all over again. And we can spend some time here watching this full cycle, watching the full flow of our breath. Following the air as it enters our body, turns around and leaves again. Maybe as if it were waves on the ocean or the tide on the shore. Following the full cycle. Just this breath. Just this breath. And following our breath in silence for a while. Occasionally checking in with where our mind is. Is it where we'd intended it to be? Occasionally checking in with your posture. Is your posture how you'd intended that to be? Just this breath. Just this breath. And with the next out breath, I'll invite you to imagine that that breath is spreading out throughout your whole body. Each out breath rippling outwards to take in your torso, arms, head and legs, until your breath is filling up the whole of your body. And it feels as if your breath and your body is sitting here, breathing as one. Noticing how the breath feels in your body. Noticing how it feels to have a body right here, right now, sat here in this chair. Maybe even noticing the points of contact with the floor or the chair. or where some body parts are touching other body parts. We're just being curious. Maybe we can notice the feel of cloth on our skin with our clothing. Maybe getting a sense of the space within our body, the space that our body is taking up, the space around our body, and the barrier between our skin. And as we sit here bringing particular attention to our body, we might notice that there are areas that are pulling for our attention. There might be some areas of some slight discomfort. And when we notice this, we have a couple of options. The first one is to move our body with the intention to ease the discomfort. And if we choose to do this, we do this in a mindful way by bringing attention to the sensation before, during and after movement. But we have another option where we can be with the discomfort and we can bring a kindly, gentle attention to this area, moving in our spotlight of attention to the area that's pulling for our attention. And we can bring our attention around the edges, just noticing, being curious, and all the while being kind. And we might want to start noticing what's here. Does it move? Do the sensations come and go, or are they constant? Can I go right into the middle of it? Or do I need to stay on the outside edges? Is there a texture here, a colour? Can I sense a noise? Just bringing our gentle curiosity in as much or as little as we feel we want to at this time. Knowing that at any time we can bring the spotlight of attention outwards fully once again to be with our body and our breath, just sat here. Either body and breath breathing itself, or moving in our attention to this area of discomfort. Noticing and breathing. And I'll invite you to leave the body and breath. Leave it to fade to the background whilst we move our attention elsewhere onto sounds and hearing. And we're just noticing sounds as events in our awareness. As best we can, we don't need to name them or add stories to them. Noticing the quality of these sounds. We don't have to go looking for them. Allowing them to come to us and go in their own time. Noticing which direction the sounds come from, front or behind, maybe to the left, to the right, above us or below us. And what kind of sounds are they? Are they long sounds, short sounds? Do they stop and start? Does it change? How about the volume, tone? pitch. And as best we can, noticing these sounds as objects in our awareness, allowing them to come and to go again. You might like to imagine that you're a microphone sat in your room, allowing these sounds to come, receiving sounds, without needing to name them or explain them. And when our minds wander, we gently and kindly bring our minds back to being here, receiving sounds. And they might be from outside, inside the room, or even inside our body. And there may be no sounds, there might be silence. And we can notice this silence as well. And I'll invite you to allow the sounds to fade into the background of our awareness. And we bring our awareness down to thoughts and thinking. And once again, we're just noticing our thoughts. We don't need to change them. Seeing them as objects in our mind, coming and going in their own good time. We might have lots and lots of thoughts, or there might be one big one hanging around. And we're just noticing them. Some of these thoughts are sticky, but eventually they move on. Maybe a bit like clouds in the sky. Inviting you to imagine that your mind is like a clear blue sky. And the thoughts that come along are like clouds. And the clouds, they come and they go. Sometimes there's lots of little clouds that just seem to pop off. Other times, lots of wispy clouds that float by. And sometimes the sky seems like it's just full of clouds, but we know that there's always the blue there in the background. And the same with thick, heavy rain clouds. The sky might seem very dark and very heavy, but even the darkest of rain clouds move on to reveal the bright blue sky underneath. And we might notice that our mind gets attracted to some of these thoughts. And when we notice this, we congratulate ourselves for a moment of mindfulness. And we bring ourselves back to a place of observing, seeing our thoughts as objects in our mind. And it might be helpful to imagine that our thoughts are acts of a play. We're sat in the audience of a theatre, and our mind is the stage. And from the left comes on a thought as an act. It plays out its bit and then it leaves again on the right. And sometimes the act might call us up on stage with it, just like our thoughts call us to get involved with them. When we notice we've been pulled up on the stage, we choose to leave and take our seat and watch and observe once again. Just noticing our thoughts as clouds in the sky or acts on the stage. And in the final stage of this meditation, I'll ask you to expand your awareness outwards and just to take in any aspect of your experience, noticing what's there and available to you, holding it alongside your breath in this open, spacious awareness. And very shortly we're coming to the end of this meditation. So I'll ring the bell 3 times and invite you to open your eyes and to start to reintegrate back into the room that you're in and carry on with your day.